Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate video. Now in today's video I am continuing with the weapon tutorials and we are going to take a look at the dual swords. I'm going to run you through all the basic combos and everything you need to know to get started. So first up, the giveaway is in the name. Dual blades or dual swords means I have two blades. Now these are really fast, really good for doing damage really quickly, but the one main thing or the one main drawback is that by having two blades I don't have a shield, so you cannot block with these weapons. To compensate for that, you are extremely fast and extremely mobile with these weapons, and you do have the ability to evade and dash, which I'll go over in just a second. But just bear in mind with these weapons, if you want to avoid attacks, you're going to need to be on the move. So first up, let's take a look at the basic moves. If you run forward and you press X, you will do this forward lunge, which is your unsheath attack. You can also replicate that by pressing X and A together, like so. However, if you stand still, your basic attacks are as follows. X will do a diagonal slash like that. You can then press X twice to do a diagonal slash and then another kind of roundhouse slash where you'll spin around. You can then chain that together a third time where you'll do your diagonal slash, your roundhouse slash, and then another attack where you slash downwards. Then moving on, you have your A attack. First one, you will do a horizontal slash like that. And then if you press it twice, you'll do a horizontal slash and then you do an upwards jump attack. Now that does elevate you slightly, so you can use that to hit monsters in the face. So for example, if Rathalos or Rathian are in front of you, you can use that to your advantage. You can then chain those together, so for example you can go X then A, you can go X, X and then A, or you can do the full triple X attack and then follow that up with an A attack. Now it's worth noting that when you add your A attack to the end of your combo, it effectively resets it, which allows you to continue that. So what I mean by that is if I press X, X, X and then A, I can then continue and go X, X, X and then A. Now if we tie all that together, let's take a look at one of the longer combos for the dual swords. If we draw our swords and you begin with your lunge attack, which is X and A, we can then chain that into the triple X attack and then follow up with an A attack, which will then allow us to link that back in to a lunge attack and then follow up with the triple X attack again, allowing us to effectively continue this as an infinite combo. So let me illustrate that. First up we lunge, then we go triple X attack like so, end it with an A attack, and then we continue, we press X again, it lunges, triple X attack, A, lunge, and we continue like that. You can see this can be chained infinitely and is extremely useful if the enemy or the monster is standing still or is like in a position where they're not going to move too long. You can also do that if your swords are sheathed. You can simply run forwards, press X to do your lunge, continue your combo, press A at the end and then continue to lunge. Alternatively, if your weapons are drawn, you can substitute the lunge for a roll. So if you're evading an enemy, then you can roll forwards and then continue with your triple X attack and again link it at the end of A. Do bear in mind though that doing these lengthy combos does leave you open if the enemy is prone to move you around, so at any point during your combo you can press A and you can roll out, so do use that to your advantage because you are going to need to stay mobile when using this weapon. Now let's move on to one of the key features of this weapon, Demon Mode. If I press R, you'll see that I put my swords up in the air and they're now glowing red. You may also notice that my stamina bar is depleting extremely quickly. You can exit Demon Mode again by pressing R, or alternatively when your stamina depletes it will exit it automatically. Now whilst you're in Demon Mode you attack faster, you deal more damage, and you have super armor, which means you'll resist wind pressure and certain smaller attacks. But again, do bear in mind, because your stamina does deplete quite fast, try to avoid being in a position whereby your stamina's run out, the enemy's attacking at you, and you therefore don't have enough stamina to evade properly. However, Demon Mode is more than just a buff. If I activate Demon Mode and begin some combos, you may recognise that the animations have actually changed. I'm actually doing some slightly different combos. Now aside from looking flashier than the regular combos, these are also faster and also they deal more damage. So you want to try and make use of this as much as possible. If we take a look at the standard XXA combo for example, when we do it in normal mode it looks like this, XXA. But if we do it in Demon Mode it looks like this, XXA. Like so. Now just like with the standard combos you can combo these infinitely, so again if I draw my swords, activate Demon Mode and I begin my combo, end with an A attack, I can then go again into my X attacks, like so, and continue this onwards until my stamina depletes. You can also activate Demon Mode as soon as you draw your weapons by holding R and then pressing X to draw them. See that I unsheath them straight away and go straight into Demon Mode. The other thing that will be extremely useful to you is the ability to dash. Again, if I activate Demon Mode and then if I press B, which would normally roll, you'll see instead I dash. Now obviously when I do dash, it uses large chunks of my stamina bar, but it allows me to dash quickly, and this is really good for evading attacks. This is much better than the roll, and it does allow you to cover greater distances and get out that much quicker. Now aside from your standard combos, the move you're going to want to use the most whilst in Demon Mode is Demon Dance. If we activate Demon Mode and you press X and A together, you'll see that you do this flashy looking combo standing still. You are stationary whilst doing this, but you do deal a hell of a lot of damage, and this is one of the best ways to build your Archdemon meter. One thing to note though, if you are going to land this attack, the first and last hits are the most potent and the most important. So if you're going to land this, make sure you land the entire attack. Now I mentioned that the Demon Dance is the best way to build your Archdemon meter, which brings me nicely onto the final part of my video. Just below your stamina bar, just below your sharpness bar, you'll see this other black bar. This is your Archdemon meter. You build this up by attacking an enemy whilst in Demon Mode. So if I begin by attacking this monster, I can also go straight into Demon Mode, and then if you'll notice the bar at the top of the screen, as I land attacks, this bar begins to fill. Once it's full, I can then exit Demon Mode. You see it's flashing white right now. I can then exit Demon Mode, but you'll notice that I have this red aura around me. This is Archdemon Mode, and this is what you want to be in at all times. You should fight in this as much as possible. In fact, you should always fight in this. So if you haven't got your Archdemon meter, your priority should always be to build this. Whilst in this mode, I have some of the benefits of Demon Mode as well as some of my normal combos. For example, if I do my basic combo, you'll see that it begins like the normal one, but then when I end it, it ends like I am in Demon Mode, which is with the double roundhouse spin. The thing that's worth noting is that whilst in this mode, the only thing I don't have from Demon Mode is the ability to do the Demon Dance. So if I press X and A together, I will instead do a lunge. It looks different to the regular lunge, it's instead a spin, but I cannot do the Demon Dance. Also, whilst in this mode, you can do your Demon Dash, so again, this is really good for evading, but the main thing is, whilst in this mode, you are doing faster attacks and doing more damage, so this is where you want to be at all times. If at any point you run out of your meter, for example, you'll see that it depletes at the moment. It depletes normally by doing attacks or when you idle, but if at any point you run out of your meter, then you want to fill it up. And you can also at certain points just go back to your Demon Mode just to top it up. So for example here, I'm going to go in, land a few more attacks, try and land a Demon Dance, and then my meter's back to being full. I can then take myself out of Demon Mode again and continue with more attacks. Now lastly, just while the monsters left the area, let's take another quick look at the combos just so you can see what they look like in Archdemon Mode. So for example, if we go X, 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 and then follow it up with A, I can then continue, and I can go X, 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 and A, and then press it again and I do my lunge, and then this can be chained infinitely. Do play around with this weapon and work out what combos work for you, but things worth noting are that Demon Mode you can and should combo into, so instead of just standing still and pressing R, what you should instead get into the habit of doing is running forward, lunging, doing a combo, and then going straight into Demon Mode, and from there going into like your Demon Dance to get as much meter as possible. And that brings me to the end of this video. So they were the basics for the dual blades, all your sort of basic combos, as well as Demon Mode and Archdemon Mode. If you do have any questions, then drop them in the comment section down below and I will do my best to answer them. But for the time being, that is it. Hopefully you found this helpful, and if you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit the like button down below to show your support. It does really help us out, and obviously don't forget to subscribe for daily gaming videos and much more Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate coverage. Thanks again for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.